Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm David Hopper, Austin Bureau Chief of 360degreesound.com, a website where we cover music from all angles. The 2025 South by Southwest Music Festival is upon us. It'll take place March 10th to 15th in Austin, and we here at 360 are bringing you exclusive interviews with artists as part of our South by Southwest Artist Spotlight series. Today, I'm joined by indie rock singer-songwriter Gus Englehorn. Gus, thanks for joining 360degreesound.com.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I wonder if you could start by giving our readers and viewers a little introduction to you and your music. First off, I read where you've lived in a lot of different places, and are you currently in Hawaii? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm currently in Austin.
Okay.
But yes, I just moved to Maui with my wife. I guess it's been like 7 months now. We were living in Portland, Oregon before that, and Montreal before that. Or no,
Oh,
Quebec City before that, and then Montreal before that. Yeah, we're always moving
wow.
around.
Very different places there, but you cover a wide area. How do you like Hawaii so far?
I love it. I think I am pretty happy here, but I gotta say I like Austin so much too. We've been here. We're
Yeah.
we're here in town recording a new album. We just released an album, but we're recording a new one with Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers.
Oh,
It's been super exciting. Uh,
yeah,
so we've been in town. We got here. We've been here for almost a week now. So and I've just been loving it. It's just been cruising around and
yeah,
it seems like an awesome place. Everyone's really nice and
yeah. That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's something you're already at work on another album. For those of you watching, Gus Englehorn released his was it third studio album in January? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
they're called the Horn Book, and I it, it I saw an interesting description of it. It says it transports listeners through a eclectic mix of influences fusing 50s golden oldies, 60s garage grit, 70s glam flair, 80s indie irreverence, and 90s lo-fi weirdness. So I like that description. It's an interesting convergence of styles. How would you say the Horn Book is I guess a progression for you musically?
Um, you know, I think structurally speaking, I think, I was, I guess somehow I got really into telling stories along my journey of becoming a songwriter, um and and then eventually, telling stories can lead you into like some pretty proggy territory, because prog is so cool because you can kind of like, punctuate and illustrate, the story musically, and it can lead you to some pretty wild structures sometimes, which are super fun. And I kind of really love prog rock a lot, but after the second record, which was pretty wild, I had I just started thinking. I started, I like just always like listening to a song on the radio or something. I'm like, oh, what are the chords of this thing? I'll look up the chords, and so often it's just the same 3 or 4 chords over and over and over again. So I started thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, man, maybe I don't even have to change the chords as much as I've been doing it. So I think that's maybe one of the biggest changes. I just kind of tell the stories over maybe a little bit more of a solid chord progression instead of a kind of fluctuating, progressive rock backing.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm a fan of Prague as well. I've appreciated the all the uh, kind of time signature changes and chord changes. And yeah, just it really takes you on a journey, and like your record does,
Oh, thank you.
as the
Yeah, Prague
description.
gets a bad rap, man. Everybody's always being mean to Prague, but
Yeah,
I think like Prague, Prague punk came along, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Prague sucks." But I think like if you mix those two things together, it's pretty interesting. You can kind of like there's a lot of room for both of them, I think.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Prague punk. Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah. As you alluded to, these stories have narratives. I saw where you said where when you were writing these stories, it felt like you were making a children's book. What if you want to expound on that some?
Yeah, it seems like having done, I guess 4 albums now, it seems like at a certain point, I kind of begin to understand the like the character that the album's gonna have, and it seems like every single time when I set out, I'm kind of just poking around in the dark, but then like about three-quarters of the way through it, I start kind of seeing, okay, these ones, this is kind of the direction it's going. And with this one, it just seemed like I started realizing after a while, like maybe after I'd written like 6 or 7 songs, oh, it seems like almost every one of these songs is just a little story, and like a little bedtime story or something. So, and then after I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if it was like almost kind of like a musical version of a children's, you know, pop-up book or something that you would read to a kid before they went to sleep or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's yeah. So then I kind of, oh, what would I call a children's book if I did write a children's book? And I figured I'd just call it the Horn Book. I don't know. I kind of like I
Mhm.
don't know. I was thinking of like, I don't know, the Necronomicon or something, or I don't know, some sort of big like tome of a book to, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, yeah. Would you, I guess, call it a concept album? And that, of course, was a big thing with the prog bands in the 70s.
Yeah. Man, it's weird. Like I was saying, I never set out to write concept albums, but I feel like they always, I guess it's like maybe I always think of one thing I'm always interested in is how do you what is that thing in your mind that tells you a song is done or an album is done or and it's there's a certain set of requirements that are kind of like written down deep in your subconscious that you have to check those boxes before you feel that it's done. And I think maybe I have to feel at least like it's a little bit like a concept, like some sort of broader concept that contains all the songs within it to
Hmm.
for me to feel like it's done. I don't know why, but
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, one of the songs, I guess it's a, I don't know if it'd be considered a single, but you have a music video for it. You have a music video for several, I think 3 or 4 songs, and but it's called Time, and that one stood out to me because I recognized the lyrics from like Scarborough Fair, the old kind of folk song that I guess Simon and Garfunkel popularized.
yeah.
I guess maybe that would be called an interpolation. What you did. So, but whatever it was cool. Well, tell us about the inspiration for that song.
Yeah, I was writing that song and it started to kind of I had just had that kind of word time. I kept saying just time. I had this script, doo, 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 doo. And everybody I would just kind of sing along with it and I'd say time, time. And after a while, I kind of started imagining this story of like someone time traveling, and it started kind of reminded me of Space Oddity a little bit, with that dun dun, and there's like this kind of like blast off sequence that I kind of wrote into it. And 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 then I was working on it and working at it, and I couldn't really figure it out. And then eventually, I just said parsley, sage, rosemary, and time, time. And then I kind of in my mind I was like, okay, it's a story about someone who's time traveling back to Scarborough Fair, too, because that's like and I think that would be a pretty cool destination if I had a time machine. That seems like that would be pretty cool to go,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
check out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well, yeah, and the album was mixed by Paul Leary of the Butthole Surfers, who you said so you're working on another new album with him, right? Paul Leary, you said?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
producing this time. Last time I asked, so I got a hold of him and I asked him if he would want to produce the horn book, and he said he doesn't do that anymore. Really, he said it's too much work. So he mixed it, and we were really happy with it, what he did, and he was super nice and fun to work with. And then so when we had a new record, I just figured I'd at least just write him and ask him again. I'm like, hey, would you want? We're gonna come down to South by Southwest. We can come down like a week early and just like record a record if you would want to, and. I said, I know you don't produce bands anymore, but I don't know if you would if you'd be interested. And he said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And like, so we just drove down to Austin. We were up in Montreal, drove 30 hours down
Wow.
we were up there playing a bunch of shows. And then we drove down to Austin and yeah, so we just been like, this is our first day off. I think we did 5 days in a row, 5 days of recording. Then today was our first day off.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, on the subject of Butthole Surfers, I gotta ask you, are you planning on seeing the premiere of the documentary? Getting up to
Oh
get,
yeah, definitely. I mean, I
yeah.
asked Paul, I was asking him, I was like, how do I get into that thing? And I think Paul said he's gonna put us on the guest list. I'm pretty
Oh, nice.
happy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it
but
looks really good. I watched the trailer the other day and looks
oh
really
man,
good.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm a huge fan, so I'm so excited they got a documentary like that about him. So it's gonna be cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, so I understand these South by gigs coming up are going to kick off a tour for you. Looked like you had a number of dates in North America and Europe. I was wondering for our viewers who are going to be coming to South by or maybe those catching you elsewhere, what can people expect from your live shows?
Yeah, let's see. Well, we'll probably play a lot of the horn book, and then we'll play probably a couple of the new ones that we're working on right now for fun. And it's just me and my wife. We're just a two-piece on stage. Just she plays
Oh,
drums, I play guitar, and I sing, and I play some harmonica now and stuff.
okay, cool.
But yeah, yeah, um we're not as rusty as we were. We played like I think six shows in Quebec and Ontario and Montreal lately, so we're road dogs at this point. We're
Yeah,
gonna be ripping it up now. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, looking forward to seeing your set. So
Oh,
on the on your albums, are you like playing multiple instruments and overdubbing and stuff, or uh, how is that
oh
part?
yeah. Yeah, we definitely it's kind of no holds barred once we get to the album thing. We're just kind of like because I sometimes I'm like, oh shit. At first I was like, oh, I wonder if I need to like limit myself to, being able to do these things live. And then I was like, nah, I don't really care that, that much. But so yeah, it's definitely a different, it's a little bit different than the album, but somehow it ends up kind of being the same. Sometimes I actually been playing a lot of just acoustic shows lately, just where it's just kind of me and an acoustic guitar. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna do any down here. I don't think, but but yeah, they seem. I always start off writing them with an acoustic guitar, so that's kind of it's just kind of when you get to the shows, it's kind of you're just hearing them, as they were when they were born a little bit, but yeah,
Mhm.
stripped down a bit.
Yeah, interesting. Um, oh yeah, I was also going to ask. I read where you were pro skateboard. I mean pro snowboarder prior to your music career. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
from Alaska originally. I mean, I kind of grew up in between Hawaii and Alaska until I was like 9 or 10, and then we're up in Alaska full time and started skateboarding and snowboarding all the time. And yeah, so that's what I was doing before I was playing music.
Okay. Yeah. So if you could talk a little bit about that, kind of why your interest in music and why you decided to switch careers.
Yeah, so I'm definitely like a pretty obsessive person. Like I get really deep into things that I'm doing, and I've only really gotten deep into two things in my life. And the first one was board sports like skateboarding, snowboarding. I was just like obsessed with it, and and then music's the new one. But yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I just got really deep into it. In where I was growing up in Alaska, there was just this amazing like skateboard, snowboard community all surrounding this like shop called Borderline. And it was just this crazy, like wild, run by this awesome wild outlaw guy named Scott Liska. And it was just this like crazy community of we show up at a skate spot and there'd be like hundreds of kids and skating until 2 in the morning, lighting tables on fire and all in over them and stuff. And so it was just this super kind of free and fun loving time, and I just got so swept away by it, and eventually just I had it in my mind that I wanted to become a I get these like I get these big dreams in my head, and I want to and so I started dreaming about becoming a professional snowboarder, and I did that. I think I kind of started getting paid to snowboard when I was probably 18 years old or something like that, and then I quit when I was about 28. So I did it for about 10 years, and I know it was a strange thing. It was a tough time for the snowboard industry. I think people were just losing a lot of companies were shutting down, and like it was just I don't know what it was going on, some bad snow years and stuff like that. So and more than that, I think I just like I can only focus on one thing at a time, and I've been playing guitar for the whole time, but it just kind of my interest in it's kept growing and growing, and to the point where I just had to like force myself to get out of my room I had to go snowboarding and so I guess music kind of just took over after a while. It was just kind of a gentle transition from one obsession to the next.
Cool. It's really interesting. Yeah, you don't see that too often. That's quite the transition. Um, but yeah, that's about all I had for you. Again, encourage everyone to check out your music and if they can catch your set at South by. Wonder if there's anything you'd like to add, about your music for our viewers and readers or to your fans.
Let's see. I don't know. It's always so hard to put it into words, isn't it? It's such a I don't know. It's such a vaporous art form that it's always feels diminished when I try to put it into words. But yeah. I hope you like it. That's, I mean, I love putting it. I love sharing it with people. So yeah, feel free
Uh,
to come
uh,
up at the shows and say hi, and we're friendly, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Again, I'm David Hopper, Austin Bureau Chief of 360degreesound.com, the site where we cover music from all angles. And be sure to check out Gus Englehorn's music. His latest album is The Horn Book, and he'll be playing at this year's South by Southwest. Thanks so much for joining us, Gus.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a good
Yeah.
time.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.